not Bungie, but Microsoft to go on and go, you know what? PC wants Halo. Why don't we give them a Halo game? They gave us Halo Wars, and that went over pretty well. Halo Wars is on the top selling for Steam for a while, and definitely up there in Windows 10 store. So I don't know. I mean, I think it would be pretty interesting if they remastered Halo and put it on PC. That would be the first PC Halo game since Halo 2, I believe. Halo 2 had a brief stint on PC.
I did not know that. And PC first-person shooter games are pretty fun. Yeah. That's kind of, where it got its start. And then when Halo came out and the Xbox had the dual analog sticks, it really changed the game, if you will, to first-person shooters being basically since 2001, 2002, the biggest genre for all of video games.
Absolutely, and I think this would be tapping into just the perfect market if they did it, This would be perfect for them to put Halo 3, which is basically the most nostalgic game of all time, or at least for as far as first-person shooters go, where you could just sit there and keep creating maps and keep having fun with friends and doing whatever you want, basically. I think that'd be amazing if they put it on PC. And then they lifted some restrictions on it, too. It would be awesome. They give you more things to create. They give you less restriction on how big your map can be. I think it'd be amazing.
I think, you know what I think they should do?
What?
All right, take the best aspects of all of the Halo games. Take the story mode, quality from 2 and 3 and put them together. Those were unbelievable story modes. Take the Forge from Halo 4 and 5.
No.
And Reach.
No.
Why?
I hated all of those Forge.
What do you mean?
Halo 3's Forge mode was the most superior Forge.
What are you talking about?
Absolutely. No way. Halo 3, all right. Halo 3's Forge mode was the best Forge mode for a simple reason.
Yeah, because it was the first one.
No, because it was the simplest one. It was the simplest and the easiest to use. You know what you want. You want a wall? There's a whole thing of walls you can find. There's your wall. Have fun. Make some walls. If they
had that in 4.
Yeah, but in 4, it's like, you want a half-cornered wall where the corner's gone, and then this wall and that. It's like, no, I just want a wall. Just give me what I want.
Just memorize which one you want.
There's too much.
You cycle through it for 30 seconds, and you can figure it out.
No, but
a trained monkey could operate the Forge in 4.
But it's too much.
No, it's not too much.
It's too much, and then you have to set up all of, the settings. You have to go on. You have to be like, is this transparent? Is it not transparent? If it is transparent, is it still there? No, you do for some objects. You do, whereas if you go into Halo, it's two separate things. It goes transparent, not transparent. They're separate. It's just easier to navigate. There's less garbage you have to go through.
No, Joe, I think you just might be an idiot. It was very easy.
No.
Very easy.
No, come on.
Go away. You're wrong.
No.
Macho Man knows. Macho Man.
You mean El Machisimo from Cars 2, the video game.
El Machisimo,
excuse you.
Help me, El Machisimo. I need your help.
I can't do it. No, ain't gonna do it. Nah. Wish I could do a better Macho Man. It's hard on the throat.
Yeah, I'm coming down with a sick, so I would not be able to do it.
Don't even attempt it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Let's talk a little
Fear
movies.
Shredding my throat.
Movies real quick before we get into Avengers Infinity War. Yeah. They just released the final Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer, and it looks really bad. And the thing is, the first trailer that they released looked awful. Then the second one they released during the Super Bowl looked really good. It looked, frightening. It had this frightening, serious tone to it. And then the third one was just released, and it's back to being silly. There's a scene, actually, where there's an explosion, and you see a velociraptor jump out of the way of the explosion. And it reminded me of the scene in Independence Day when the dog, Boomer, escapes the explosion. I was thinking, oh, my God, are we really doing this? Animals, avoiding explosions like Tom Cruise. It's a freaking raptor, man. And, I just think
it's a smart raptor.
Some of the jokes are so bad in this trailer. I mean, maybe they won't play out that same way in the theater. Maybe they'll even get cut. But there's one specific joke that really ticked me off. It's Bryce Dallas Howard's character. Nobody knows the name of any of these characters' names because they're so unmemorable. Can you tell me what her name is? She's just Bryce Dallas Howard.
So mean.
It's her.
It's true, though.
It's her and the new goofy guy who has an afro and glasses, and they're kind of hiding in a room, and then you hear the footsteps, and she goes, "It's a T-Rex. It's a T-Rex." And then he goes, "Oh, it's not a T-Rex. And then the creature comes, and she's like, at least it's not a T-Rex. Something along those lines. But it was just, now's not the time for comedy when you're being chased by a dinosaur.
I don't know, man. I feel like I would, I'd absolutely let loose some comedy.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You would be filled with your trousers with a certain matter.
Yeah, but see, that's how I deal. That's how I deal with situations like that.
You wouldn't have the witty catchphrase, Colton. I'm sorry.
I don't have witty catchphrases. Whatever falls out of my mouth, falls out of my mouth. That's my charm.
All right, we're going to bring in a raptor next week. We'll see how you deal
Real
with
quick,
it.
let's take a guess. Do you guys know what Chris Pratt's character's name is? Take a guess.
Is it Ben?
No.
It starts with a B.
No. Colton, what do you think Chris Pratt's character's name is in a Jurassic World?
Give me the first letter if Colton can't get it.
Is it, Bartholomew? It's a B.
No.
What's the first letter?
Starts with an O.
Oscar.
No.
It's
Owen?
Oliver.
Owen.
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 What a memorable character.
Right? Do you remember Jeff Goldblum's character?
Of course, Dr. Ian Malcolm.
There you go. That just shows
I can tell you all the characters from the first Jurassic Park.
The Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park.
Like F-A, like Park with an F?
No, it's Park with a P, but the P got smudged a little
Oh,
bit.
the P has an H after it.
Did I not say Park?
No, it's just like a P, but like the little curve thing is taken out. So it looks like,
got it.
The
it's like a coffee stain
Jurassic Park.
There you go.
I definitely said it right. We'll go to the tape. But yeah, obviously.
Also, B.D. Wong is in this movie.
We'll have the raptor go to the tape.
B.D. Wong was actually in the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
and Jurassic
no.
World.
The amount of effort you
he
said
was in
that
Jurassic
with.
Park as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's the guy who
he was?
he's with the Raptors in one of the opening scenes. And then when the Raptors first hatch.
Oh, he plays the same character.
Come here, little one. Push. That's what John Hammond is saying.
Sure.
He's the Asian doctor that's there. I believe his name is what's his name in the movie?
Dr. Henry Wu.
Wu, yes, Henry Wu. Who is actually, the first, the Jurassic Park book that this movie, was based on, a lot of the characters were completely different and actually had different fates. Dr. Ian Malcolm actually dies in the first book, Jeff Goldblum's character, and John Hammond also dies in the book, and John Hammond is more of an evil type of character. He's kind of like an evil Walt Disney who just only cares about, having this park survive. And he gets his comeuppance, if you will.
Good.
Other characters, the lawyer is actually, the lawyer from the first movie who gets eaten by the T-Rex. He's actually more of a heroic character. And Muldoon, who's the guy who says clever girl and gets mauled by the raptor, he actually survives in the book. So they did take liberties, but then the writer, Michael Crichton, was asked to write a sequel to the book because the movie was such a big success, and he had to kind of say, Ian Malcolm didn't die. He was just knocked unconscious. So apparently the second book is nowhere near as good as the first book.
Wow. All right. Movies are way better, though?
Yeah, no, I heard the first book is phenomenal, and it's one of those things I would like to read, but it's very, very long, but it's got, like I said, a different tone to it. It's a much darker movie, and I don't know, I like what Spielberg did with the movie, but I wouldn't mind if it got remade, believe it or not, and was just a full-on adaptation of the book, maybe done by a director who doesn't go for the kid-friendly type of stuff and maybe goes for a darker tone, because James Cameron was actually set. There was a big bidding war to get the rights to Jurassic Park, and some of the directors were Sam Raimi, Spielberg, who won it, and James Cameron. I would have liked to have seen James Cameron's take on Jurassic Park, but we got one of my favorite movies out of it with Spielberg's direction.
Yeah, and then one of the biggest guys in there, Sam Neill.
Don't say anything. Well, there's a rumor he might be in this new one.
Oh, I have no idea about that. Yeah. I'm talking about
Dr.
how he
Alan
was. I was talking about how he was in Thor Ragnarok.
He was? Who was he? Oh, yes, he was
Odin.
He was fake Odin.
He was fake Odin.
And the fake Loki was Matt Damon. And I don't know who fake Thor was. It might have been Hemsworth's brother. I'm not sure who it was.
I think it might have been.
But yeah, I heard those characters might be returning.
What, the fake characters?
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
I read an article headline at least that said, could we possibly see more of Matt Damon's character from Thor? But that was definitely a funny surprise. But since we just talked about Thor, I think Thor sounded like a Daffy Duck.
Thor.
I think we should talk a little bit about Avengers: Infinity War. Quickly though, Super Troopers 2.
It was Luke Hemsworth. It was his brother.
It was his brother. I did see Super Troopers 2 in theaters.
How was it?
It was all right. I really liked the original movie. This one definitely had a lot of good jokes in it. All in all, the thing about comedy sequels are they don't really... It's very hard to do a comedy sequel. There's very few good ones. I think just some of the good ones are Mike Myers movies, and we just lost Vern Troyer, who played Mini-Me.
Yeah.
But he was introduced actually in the second Austin Powers movie, and that movie's hilarious. Wayne's World 2 is real good. Ghostbusters 2 is all right, but Anchorman 2 is nowhere near as good. Dumb and Dumber 2 is nowhere near as good. Ace Ventura 2 is not good at all.
Really? You didn't like it?
I didn't like it. So it's tough.
Pet Detective was the first one.
Yeah, and then When Nature Calls is the sequel. It's not the worst movie, but it's nowhere. They kind of do the same jokes, and that's what comedy sequels do. They take the same type of premise
and put it in another setting.
It's very unoriginal. This one was all right. They did, some of the same jokes from the first one, but it was raunchy. It was,
So as far as comedy sequels go, this was definitely like a solid B.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's tough. Like, I can't think of any, genuinely like classic comedy sequels besides Wayne's World 2 and Austin Powers 2.
Wayne's World.
Party time.
Even
excellent.
Austin Powers Goldmember.
I don't like Goldmember.
You don't like Goldmember?
And
I thought it was hysterical.
It was all right.
You know what's a really funny sequel to a movie? Team Daryl. You ever see that?
What is Team Daryl?
Okay, so after just go back to Marvel, Thor Ragnarok. So afterwards, the whole thing is like Thor now is with his people. So you know how they did those like online sketch things of like Thor has like a roommate named Daryl? You never see those?
No.
Oh man, so for like Australia's like tourism thing, like Chris Hemsworth was like, I live in Australia where I wait for the Avengers to call me to battle. So like he's just like living with this guy named Daryl, and Daryl's like trying to like put up with living with Thor.
I might have seen this actually.
And so now that Thor has his people, he doesn't need a roommate anymore. But so he puts up like a roommate needed like advert online. And Jeff Goldblum's character, the Grand Master from Thor Ragnarok, answered it, and now is his roommate. So it's just Jeff Goldblum and the guy Daryl living together.
I'll have to check this out.
It's a very short thing that Taika Waititi did after Thor Ragnarok, and it's hilarious.
And he did a great job directing that movie. I'd like to see him, do some other
doing Avengers
movies.
Yeah,
Avengers would be cool. Even like Samurai Jack. I think if he did a Samurai Jack
that'd be amazing. Yeah. I want to see that.
So let's talk about Avengers Infinity War in the last 15 minutes of Nerdvana right here on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. Colton's got his ticket. Me and Joe got our tickets. Do you have your tickets?
Yeah.
Well, if you're not,
you?
I do.
Do you?
No.
What?
Well, if you don't have your tickets, you're not part of the record-breaking amount of people who have bought tickets to see this. Shattered records.
Well, I'm not surprised. This movie is the closest to a 10 out of 10 I've ever seen. Besides, it was Paddington 2 that got a perfect 10, right?
It got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. So, yeah, this is 9.7 out of 10.
On where?
Hold on, wait.
Where did you see that?
Rolling Stone, I was just looking
at. Did they even do the premiere yet?
Yeah, it was IMDb, 9.7 out of 10.
But is that
official?
I don't know. I didn't see anything about reviews for the movie yet. I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, there's no scores yet, so I don't know where you're getting this.
IMDb.
I mean, look at
but
this.
Is there actually reviews, or is it just like a hype thing?
There's one review. There's one user review, but that's the only one you can see.
Oh, yeah, it's a user review. It's a 6 out of 10. Huh.
I don't think that person saw the movie yet.
I doubt
there's like an embargo on the movie. You can't release a review yet. So, I'm sure by the end of, maybe Wednesday we'll start to see what this movie is getting. I would assume it's going to be in, the range that Marvel tends to be in. It'll be like 88% to 95%. But I think it will live up to the hype. I think it's going to be a great movie, and I've been looking forward to it for 10 years.
10 years. They've been building up to this moment for the last decade.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really